opese usua bribi wo media mu ana opese ohunu bribi biara efa media ho enso eche kra yawa atwechefo a wakwadiri yie wa adetwemu na in studio ni ye newsroom de editwam wonsam twemu no ye twe bribi ti se kasebo akenkan ni sinitwa ni bebura ekeka ho wa multimedia mu nso ye twe bribi ti se sini mfoni asiesie mfoni nitwa ni bebura ekeka ho ye betumi nso aboa ama wo de na otwepe asunya bribi wo nkitahodie adwuma ahodo nyinaamu esan se ye wo yankasa foni nti abre biara ye ma ya adesuafo kwan ma okoyo de ya twe won adesua dan mu no
Chefo amushe TV enenso yamwakwa ababa TV erenso ye dafofra ye pese ne so panyini sedi nkomo bio
ahwefo ehu ekame ese obi biara wole bosomtwe ase enim agbakosema
the conversation with Sammy Gyamfi. Currently we're here to take stock from what transpired yesterday. We know that the budget statement is out, the full version in itself, apart from the highlight that was before Parliament by Dr. Kisio Latoforsen. But there are some thematic areas that still would need to have a lot of introspection on. And that's why Sammy is here. Of course, towards the latter part, we can talk about the good ball thereof and what the objectives are and things. But I say good morning to you and thank you for joining us as well.
Good morning, Roland.
You hold your position as the communication officer of the party, right?
Yes.
Yes. How is that, juggling between those two positions that you hold now?
Well, thank you very much for the opportunity. A very good morning to our cherished viewers. Several budget statements being presented to Parliament. But the truth is one, I have never seen a budget respond to the needs and aspirations of the people. A budget respect the social contract between the government and the people. A budget resonates with the needs and the expectations of the people of Ghana, like the 2025 budget statement, the maiden budget of the NDC Mahama government has done. Look, this is the best budget I have ever seen by far. No one commodity that was very scarce was the commodity of trust in public leadership and hope. People lost hope in the political class. We saw unprecedented disillusionment in our young people. People gave up on Ghana. People ridiculed the political class. People lost interest in politics and elections. Specific policies and measures, by extension, the nation yesterday. To me, that was the crux of the issue. Abain Papa, hope is back. We now have leadership that we can trust, and that makes a lot of difference.
Mr. Gyamfi, the former finance minister, the just immediate past finance minister, Dr. Amin Adam, describes the budget as a Sakawa budget, contrary to what you say. Yes,
really?
That's what he said.
Sakawa budget?
Yes, that's his description. What's your response to that?
But the point is that when you monochrono, these guys don't have work, they don't have jobs.
At the height of the campaign.
And so you cannot expect them to go and steal. So if they succeed, okay, bet is a game of chance. They succeed in winning something small from bets after losing so much. It is totally past.
And no doubt,
how is that Sakawa?
And no doubt, at the height of the campaign, the removal of the betting tax was a campaign theme for both parties.
Yeah.
Now, if you, as a response, hear the former finance minister say that they never started implementation or even collection of the proceeds thereof, what?
Or he was simply not on top of his work matter. TV3 has fact-checked that claim. True of us. You fact-checked it. Sports betting it also applies to national lottery, private lottery, and all that. They should say that, okay, they started implementing it on sports betting, but they did not commence the implementation on national and private, lotteries. Say that, and that will be correct. But don't say that you never collected the tax. So if you did not collect the tax, why was Bawumia promising to scrap the tax when he was dancing off beat? You saw those videos. And when Dennis Miracles Abuaje was holding placards, we will scrap betting tax. What were they talking about? So the tax was not enforced. It was not being implemented. So what were they promising to scrap? You see, yes, they have been exposed. There is a video of Mr. Edward Jamra, who is the commissioner for the domestic tax division of the Ghana Revenue. And the MPP actually organized town hall meetings. Let's not forget it. Town hall meetings. Kojo Opon Kroma and Ken Oforiatta held town hall meetings across Ghana, justifying this atutubotom tax. We cannot do without. Bawumia was the one who sat in the studios of Peace FM in 2020 August, and said Momo is for the poor, it should not be taxed. I mean, every student of economics will tell you that double or multiple taxation is frowned upon by all principles of taxation. Because one money paid to me by my employer, anytime I transfer the money, you are deducting a tax. Why? On the same amount of money. Why? It was clearly unacceptable. Today, that market woman can send money to her children, can send money to and things like IDVL, they were charged. And we see it too.
There was
if we had not voted,
as far as we know.
Look, no, it was not an intention, it was implemented. If we had not, they would have levied us emissions tax to pay taxes on the smoke.
But Sammy, that's too far reaching.
The principle was to tax emissions. Smoke, musi. That was the principle. Even Emperor Vespasian, who is considered one of the most wicked emperors of the Roman Empire, all he did was to impose a tax on urine. These guys have moved beyond urine. A tax of 1% was introduced. The price of gold on the international market averagely was just about $2,000 per ounce. As we speak, it has crossed $2,800, $2,900 per ounce. So we need to get more from that windfall relative to the international market price of gold. So government says pay more. Instead of 1%, pay 3%. It doesn't affect the ordinary Ghanaian.
Now,
so this is the innovativeness that has been lacking in the last
and how then do you respond to a criticism, especially coming from the MPP and the opposition, that the finance minister going around the market soliciting views was just for
learning to be a teacher, and he is giving an allowance. Another person is at Winneba, also studying to become a teacher, and he is giving a loan. So we wanted that uniformity. Even when we decided to do that, we later changed it for the nursing trainees, because we realized that the nursing trainees did not qualify to benefit from student loans. So later on, we decided to pay them in 2016 an abated allowance in 2016. We never cancelled it. Now, in 2020, we said that because of, in the manifesto, go and check, both 2020 and 2024, because of the huge financial gap the Student Loan Trust Fund faces, it is no longer feasible to enroll nursing trainees and teacher trainees onto the Student Loan Trust Fund.
So the students in training colleges, whether it's for nurses or for teachers, etc., will not be enrolled
by debt. At the time we were leaving office in 2016, Roland, the total public debt of Ghana stood at 120 billion cedis. When we inherited power again 8 years after from Akufo-Addo, 726 billion, from 120 billion to 726 billion. This is even after the draconian debt exchange program, which has deprived over 1.3 million Ghanaians of their hard-earned investments and coupons to the tune of 240 million. We still owe 726 billion. This year alone, the NDC Mahama government is called upon to pay 26 billion to domestic creditors. Domestically, Ghana for 26 billion. In February, we paid almost 10 billion. We've paid that already. In July, John Mahama and Ato Forsen will have to pay another 6.2 commencement certificates. No budgetary provision. These contracts were not even in their own budget. They were awarding contracts like there is no tomorrow. Go and check ECG what they have done. These guys were so wicked. They have ordered containers, bought things that ECG will not need in the next 10 years. ECG will not need in the next 10 years. Yet the expiry date for some of those things is 5 years. Sign contracts to the tune of 194 billion. Commitment alone. That is different from arrears. The commitment has to do with the contractual obligations we have, that if performed, we have to pay. The arrears are contracts that have already been rendered, and IPPs, interim payment certificates, IPCs, have been generated. So government money, they took the money and chopped. They didn't supply the cocoa to the people they took the money from. So now Mahama has to go and get that 330,000 tons of cocoa and go and supply it.
But Mr. Gyamfi,
and because of that, hold on.
It will mean that you need to undertake investigations to ascertain why.
It's a fact. It's not in dispute.
Okay.
300.
Yes, may not be in dispute. It also means that processes would have to be undertaken to make sure that, well, if it's money taken, then at the end of the day, you go,
issues with
nobody
the bottom line is that 330,000 metric tons of cocoa, they have taken the money for that, they have not supplied. So now we must supply. But you see, when they were taking the money, they took the money in 2023, undertaking a review of VAT. A review of VAT. I will scrap 3% VAT flat rate. I will increase the VAT threshold so that small and micro businesses will not pay VAT in Ghana, so that they can have a respite and develop. John Mahama says, I am reviewing VAT so that COVID levy this year, I will scrap it. In spite of all these challenges, John Mahama says we need to invest in education. Our children are our future. Without them, Ghana is sunk. Yet this government, the MPP, introduced a new curriculum, new syllabus. For 6 years, they did not provide a full complement of textbooks for our children. John Mahama, in this budget, is children at KG, children in primary school, children in JHS, 564 million. Akufo-Addo would have used that for a so-called swimming pool for God, even though God does not swim.
What are you mean the cathedral?
What
and
cathedral?
The expenditure?
That swimming pool, that manhole that they dug, is more than that money. We are using it to buy textbooks. Listen to me carefully. John Mahama says that is not all. Today, there are young people who cannot buy. They are menstruating, but they can't buy pass. Because do you know the price of one sanitary pad today? 20, 30, 40 cedis, depending on the brand. How many parents can afford that every month for their children? So sometimes these young girls don't go to school because they cannot. It's because there is no dedicated source of funding. Today we pick oil money small. Today we pick this money. He said, no, we promise a dedicated source of funding. And that is what we must do. He uncaps Get Fund, makes available 4.1 billion. Free SHS, how much do you need for 2025? Only 3.5 billion. So the 4.1 billion we have gotten through the uncapping of Get Fund is enough to take care of free SHS. We have 6 billion left out of the 4.1 billion. What will he do with that? He says there are persons with disability, persons who can see, persons who have one disability, one form of disability or the other. For these people, we must encourage them. So every person with disability, Obi Awedi them, Sammy, be our university, nursing training, teacher training, polytechnic, technical university. John Mahama says go to school for free, from level 100 to level 400 or level 300. Go to we are investing it in the future of our children.
Now, Sammy, as part of the campaign promises of John Mahama was the constant promise across all the regions or the constituencies that he went, that he will give stipends to members of assemblies who are elected, assembly members, so to speak. And this has found allocation in the budget.
Yeah.
Okay. What's the incentive?
So when we sing,
what's the intention of this policy?
When we sing the song, Oka Obeyo, Oka Obeyo.
What's the intention of the policy?
JMA, Mama, Wama, Oka Obeyo. That's what we mean. Assembly members are agents of development at the local level. They are like MPs at the local level. We, the NDC, we give birth to the decentralization system we have today. We believe in decentralization. And if decentralization will work, then assembly members who are the key agents of development at the local level must be supported. They must be supported. These assembly members are left on their own to fend for themselves. So they are not able to play their roles effectively. 100 million Ghana cedis for that. 300 million. Aside that, we promise a Jumerura program. A Jumerura program means identify young people who are establishing businesses, train them, mentor them, educations.
Under the Ministry of Communication.
Some judges will lead that. Our sisters, the women, who are very entrepreneurial. Ghanaian women are very hardworking and entrepreneurial, very industrious. But sometimes somebody needs just 5,000 cedis, 2,000 cedis to start a business. And there is no help. The formal banking system is not able to help them. And the financial institutions, indigenous financial institutions, which used to come to their aid, like Amwaben's UT, like UT Bank, like Kwamnado Force Unibank, and all that, have all been collapsed by Akufo-Addo and Bawumia. So we promise to set up
going to operate and within
capital of the institution.